Hey guys, Alex here. Thanks so much for watching my dog training videos. Be sure to drop by my website, brightdog.com, where you can pick up a copy of the official Bright Dog Academy ebook, plus learn more about my private coaching program, where you can personally work with me one-on-one. Hey guys, Alex here for Bright Dog Academy, and today I want to talk about the different types of dog leashes. There's a whole lot of different styles out there, and it can be a little overwhelming if you're a new dog owner, so I want to give you some information about what types of leashes are best and how to kind of pick which type of leash you want to use for your own dog. So the first type of leash I want to talk about are the nylon or cotton leashes. These are the ones that come in all sorts of different colors and different designs, different, widths and lengths. Well, actually, usually just different widths. Lengths is pretty general, 4 foot or 6 feet. As far as determining which length you should get, I always prefer a 6-foot leash, just because you can always make it shorter, right? A 4-foot leash you can never make any longer, so I kind of always prefer to go with the 6-foot leashes, and if you need to pull a dog in, that's fine. Wrap it around your hand a few times. These are really good leashes for, I guess, let's say medium-sized dogs and under, 50 to 60 pounds and under. They're not the strongest material, but they are quite comfortable to hold in your hand. So if you're going to go for long walks, and again you have a smaller dog, nylon or the cotton leashes are pretty nice. The next type of leash are leather leashes. So leather is kind of the next step up from the nylon or cotton as far as durability goes, and they're fairly comfortable to use as well. One thing you should know though is that leather hardens when it gets wet, and then once it dries up, it becomes very brittle. So if that happens, there's a risk that you could be out one day walking your dog and that leash snaps. So if you have a leather leash or you're gonna get one, be very careful that you avoid getting it wet. If you take your dog out for walks during the rain, definitely something you want to avoid with the leather leash. Don't let it sit on the ground where it gets wet. Don't let your dog put it in his mouth. Keep that thing dry, as best you can. The third type of leash are metal leashes or chain leashes, and these are the most durable ones. You're not going to break metal. I like to use these leashes with puppies in particular when we're first starting to walk them, because the metal helps to discourage the puppy from actually biting the leash. Leashes and collars are a foreign concept to puppies, so it's very normal for a puppy, when you first put them on a leash, to turn and try to bite the leash and jump up at it, right? Well, when they bite the metal, it doesn't hurt them, but it's very unpleasant, and it's a great deterrent to teach the puppy not to bite the leash. The one downside to chain leashes, however, is that they are very uncomfortable. Most of them have a little nylon, strap at the end that you can put your wrist through, but other than that, the actual chain leash is going, on your hand. So you don't have as much control with them, and especially with the bigger ones, with a bigger dog, it can be, kind of rough on your hands. The fourth type of leash are the extendable leashes, the ones that have the little plastic and they all roll up into the inside of the plastic container. Now these ones are the really long leashes. Most of these go from like 12 feet to 30 feet, all right? And it's very important that you strictly follow the recommendation for the weight of your dog and the appropriate leash. Because if you try to be cheap and get a leash that's for, you have a large dog and you try to get a leash that is rated for a lesser weight, great chance of that leash breaking. Now personally, I hate these kind of leashes. Number one, because I've seen the mechanism break just at unfortunate times. But number two, you also have a lot less control over the dog. It's very hard to reel them in. These are just not something that I would recommend for everyday use. Now, if you're gonna go to the beach one day, or you're out in a field or something where it's all open, there's really no risk of anything, and you want to use it there for the dog to explore, then that's fine. But for general everyday use, I'm not a big fan of retractable leashes. Stretch leashes. These are kind of like retractable leashes, just without the fancy mechanism inside. Now, the way I teach dogs to walk nicely without pulling, if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. But essentially, every time the dog goes to pull, you stop walking. So what happens is when the dog feels pressure on the neck, you don't go forward until they loosen it up. When they loosen it up, they go forward. When they feel pressure, they stop going forward, all right? The stretch leashes don't really allow that because there's too much give when your dog goes to pull. There's never any type of firm pressure. So stretch leashes, again, kind of like the retractable ones. In certain situations, they're okay, but for everyday use, I wouldn't use them. The last type of leash is a slip leash. And these are the ones that usually groomers will use, vets will use. It's basically just a little rope that, slips through a ring and goes around the dog's neck. These are good for, grooming your dog, giving him a bath. You don't want to get his nice collar wet. or anything like that. But this is not something you want to use for everyday walking. Any type of collar, okay, whether it's a slip leash or collar that constricts, puts a lot of pressure on the dog's neck, on their trachea, can cause collapsed tracheas. So you always want to avoid putting any type of heavy pressure on the dog's neck, which is why these are really just for, you know, the things I mentioned, using them at the vet, grooming, stuff like that. So those are the 6 different types of leashes. Hopefully that gave you guys a little bit of information and it'll help you to choose the best leash for you and your dog.